Hello, I'm Emily and I'm an educator at MOHAI, and this is Collection Connections Objects in Question, where we take a quick peek into Seattle history by taking a really close look at one item in our teaching collection to see what it can tell us about the past. Today, we're going to be exploring coal mining in Washington history, and this is our artifact. But first, let's have a think. So, some of the things that I think about when I think about coal mining in Washington history, I definitely think about coal itself. So coal is a black, organic, sedimentary rock. It's kind of crumbly and dusty sometimes too. It's not like other rocks. It's not made of minerals, but is made from carbon, and it takes millions of years to form in the earth, which is pretty cool. And it's combustible, so it can catch on fire. And the main use of coal is that people burn it to make heat or energy. So thinking about Washington history in particular, coal was a really popular way of heating homes in the Pacific Northwest in the late 1800s and early 1900s. And also trains would use coal to run steam engines. And I think about where coal comes from. So the coal mines and tunnels and caves where people would kind of dig out coal from the earth. And there are a lot of coal mines around the Cascade foothills, so in south central King County in particular, places like Issaquah and Redmond and Black Diamond and Newcastle are all towns that kind of grew up around coal mines. And I think about the people that lived in these mining communities, the workers and their families, and the job of being a coal miner, which is super dangerous and uncomfortable, especially in the late 1800s and early 1900s. You know, you're going down into these dark tunnels and these really cramped spaces, and there's absolutely no light. There's coal dust, which is super unhealthy to breathe and kind of dangerous. There's risk of the tunnels collapsing, and it just doesn't sound very pleasant. So those are some of the things that I think about when I think about coal mining in Washington history. This is the object we'll be exploring today. Our first step is to use our senses to make as many observations as possible. So the first thing that I notice is that this looks like it's made of metal, and maybe that all of the pieces are metal. So it's got a nice metal tinny noise. It's smooth, it's hard, it's lightweight, and it's got this kind of brass color on this main body portion here, and it's got kind of a tin or aluminum color on this saucer type thing on the front here. There are a lot of round shapes on this object. So we've got this big circular saucer type thing on the front. We've got one kind of cylinder up here, another cylinder chunk below. We've also got this circle over here on the top. And then we've got lots of lines as well. So we've got what kind of looks like a thread for a screw or a light bulb kind of right here. And we've got some rectangles, I guess, kind of going along the side body that are, raised. And we've got lots of lines on the top over here. And I see some other kinds of markings as well. So it says Guy's Dropper on it. And this side over here, it says on, which is interesting. Just kind of looking at the different parts and pieces, I'm wondering if anything moves, especially this says on, so interesting. It's a nice noise and it moves around. This also opens and closes. And this looks kind of like a wheel or a gear. And it spins. I want to try and open this down here, but because there's some cracks on the bottom edge here, I'm a little hesitant to try and open it, even though it seems like something that kind of screws. And then we've also got this piece over here that is kind of like a hook shaped. This really reminds me of a photographer's flash, like an old-timey photographer's flash that they would kind of hold up and it would make a big boom bright light and some smoke, except it's there's no bulb aspect to it. And there's no handle either, so it doesn't have like a loop handle like a camping light, and it also doesn't have a handle on the bottom, kind of like a photographer's flash would. So it seems like something that makes light, but I'm not entirely sure how. Look at that. So this photo, taken sometime between 1905 and 1910, shows a group of miners at a mine near Newcastle. They've got lots of coal dust on their clothes. Some of them are carrying metal lunch pails, which is a really common way for miners to carry their lunches into the mines. And a lot of them are wearing hats that have objects on the front that look pretty similar to ours. So this is a really great clue that this object here is a headlamp. So it's a lamp that would go on the front of your head or maybe attached to your belt. So that way you could have light projecting in front of you as you're kind of navigating the tunnels, but you could also have your hands free. And this style of lamp is called a carbide lantern. So the way that this works is that this bottom canister down here holds a chemical called calcium carbide, and this canister up here holds water. And remember that lever that we listened to earlier? It's really fun. It controls the amount of water that's trickling down into the calcium carbide container below. Now, when the water and the calcium carbide interact with each other, it makes a chemical reaction that produces a new chemical, acetylene, that is really flammable. And so you're using this striker here on the front to light a fire that's on the front of this reflector and kind of projecting light into the tunnel. So this could really go wrong. You could definitely cause an explosion by releasing too much water and making too much acetylene. These kinds of headlamps were used in the United States mines until about the 1930s, and nowadays headlamps are usually electrical, so there's a lot less risk, at least as far as the headlamp is concerned. So what does this tell us about coal mining in Washington history? One of the things that I think it tells us is a little bit more about how dangerous coal mining can be, and I'm definitely really curious what other tools miners would have used in order to navigate the mines and do their jobs. What questions do you have about coal mining in Washington history? To explore some of your history questions or explore the online collection, you can visit the MOHAI website at mohai.org. That's mohai.org. And you can also email us at education@mohai.org if you have any requests for future collection connections, objects in question video topics. Thanks for watching.